You've been told for decades that eggs are the perfect food to protect your muscles after 60. But what if that advice is quietly making you weaker instead of stronger? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you simple, inexpensive foods that research now shows can rebuild muscle faster than eggs, even in your 70s and 80s. Now, I know that sounds hard to believe, because eggs have been the gold standard for protein for as long as most of us can remember. Doctors recommended them. Nutrition labels praise them. Many of you have eaten them faithfully every morning, believing you were doing the right thing for your strength. But here's the uncomfortable truth I've learned after decades working with adults over 50. What works for a 30-year-old body does not work the same way for a 60 or 70-year-old body. As we age, our muscles don't just need protein. They need the right kind, delivered in the right way, at the right time. Otherwise, that protein never reaches the muscle cells that need it most. And this is why so many older adults do everything right, yet still feel weaker every year. If you've ever wondered why your legs feel heavy, your grip feels weaker, or your energy fades faster than it used to, this video may finally give you the missing answer. Let me start with a very honest question. Have you ever sat down in your favorite chair in the living room, and when it was time to stand up, you had to push off with your hands, brace yourself, or pause for a few seconds, just to get your body to cooperate? So many of my patients have looked at me and said, "Doctor, I'm not in severe pain. I don't have a major disease, but I feel like I'm getting weaker, and I don't know why." And what has troubled me the most over more than 30 years in medicine is this. Most of them believe that this is simply old age. But the truth is far more complex. My name is Dr. William. I'm over 60 years old myself, and I've spent my entire career working with people over 50. People who were once strong, independent, capable. People who raised families, built careers, carried responsibilities, and then slowly, quietly, they began to lose muscle. And with it, confidence in their own bodies. I want you to hear this clearly, right at the beginning of this video. Muscle loss is not destiny. But there is a deadly mistake that 94% of Americans over 65 make every single day. And there's a good chance you're making it too, without even realizing it. For decades, we've been told one simple message. If you want to stay strong, eat eggs. Eggs were called the perfect protein. Eggs were recommended every morning. Eggs became the foundation of nutrition advice for older adults. But new science has forced even doctors like me to stop and question what we thought we knew. I want you to imagine this for a moment. Your muscles are like a house that's slowly wearing down. Protein is the building material needed to repair it. But if your body can't properly absorb that material, then no matter how much you eat, the house keeps crumbling. And here's what very few people ever tell older adults. After age 60, your ability to absorb and use protein drops significantly. One of my patients, Frank, 72 years old, ate eggs almost every single day, 2 eggs every morning, religious about it, for years. Yet he kept getting weaker. His thighs shrank. His arms lost strength. A short walk left him exhausted. He looked at me and asked, "Doctor, I did everything right, so what did I do wrong?" The answer shocked him. It wasn't that he wasn't eating enough. It was that he was eating the wrong kind of protein for an aging body. When researchers analyzed more than 3,000 foods based on their ability to rebuild muscle in older adults, only a handful truly worked. And here's the part that stunned even the medical community. Eggs didn't make the list. Not because eggs are bad, but because in older adults, egg protein is often poorly utilized, while cholesterol quietly builds up and circulation suffers, the very thing aging muscles need most to recover. Meanwhile, there are everyday foods, cheap, accessible, sitting right there in your local grocery store. Foods that medicine rarely talks about. Why? Because here's an uncomfortable truth. Weak seniors generate more profit, more walkers, more medications, more surgeries, more assisted living. Strong, independent seniors don't. But I didn't become a doctor to watch people fade away quietly. I've seen people in their 70s and even 80s regain strength, not through gyms or expensive supplements, but by choosing the right foods for an aging body. I've seen a 75-year-old woman stand up from a chair without using her hands for the first time in years. I've heard a 78-year-old man tell me, "For the first time in a long time, my body feels like it belongs to me again." That's why I'm making this video. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share cheap, everyday foods that rebuild muscle faster than eggs, especially for bodies over 60. This isn't theory. This isn't hype. This is what I've seen, measured, and witnessed in real patients. Before we continue, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. What worries you most about your body right now? Is it weak legs when standing up, constant fatigue, or the quiet fear that one day you might lose your independence? Hold that question in your mind, because what I'm about to share may completely change how you think about aging and what's still possible for your body. And we're going to start right now. Now let's talk about the foods themselves. And before you think, "Doctor, this sounds complicated," let me reassure you. None of these are exotic. None are expensive. In fact, many of them have been sitting quietly on grocery store shelves for years, while your muscles slowly lost strength. Let's start with something that surprises almost everyone. I often ask my patients, "What do you eat at night?" Most tell me they avoid protein in the evening because they're afraid it's too heavy. But here's something most people don't realize. Your muscles rebuild the most while you sleep. That's where cottage cheese becomes incredibly powerful. Cottage cheese contains casein protein, which digests slowly over many hours. Instead of flooding your body with protein and then disappearing, like eggs often do, casein feeds your muscles steadily through the night. I had a patient, Helen, 72 years old, who woke up every morning feeling stiff and weak in her legs. No major pain, just that heavy, fragile feeling. We didn't change her exercise. We didn't add supplements. We simply added half a cup of cottage cheese before bed. 2 weeks later, she told me, "Doctor, mornings don't scare me anymore." That's not magic, that's biology. Now compare that with Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt works differently, but just as powerfully. It's rich in leucine, an amino acid that acts like an on switch for muscle repair. Think of leucine as the signal that tells your body, "Yes, now it's time to rebuild." As we age, that signal gets weaker. Greek yogurt helps turn the volume back up. I often recommend it in the morning or after light activity, not because it's trendy, but because it reminds aging muscles how to respond again. Then there are sardines, small, humble, often ignored. But sardines deliver a combination that aging bodies desperately need: complete protein, omega-3 fats, and vitamin B12. Omega-3s reduce the silent inflammation that quietly blocks muscle repair. B12 keeps the nervous system sharp, because muscles are useless if the signal from the brain is weak. I once told a 78-year-old man to eat sardines twice a week. He laughed and said, "Doc, I haven't eaten sardines since the Navy." A month later, he told me his legs didn't ache after gardening anymore. That's when people start to realize strength isn't always about lifting more. Sometimes it's about removing what's holding your muscles back. Now let's talk about grains, but not the ones most Americans eat. Millet and teff are ancient grains, and there's a reason civilization survived on them. Millet stabilizes blood sugar. That matters more than you think. When blood sugar crashes, muscles feel weak, shaky, unreliable. Stable energy means muscles can work longer without fatigue. Teff goes even deeper. It's rich in lysine, an amino acid essential for collagen. And collagen is what holds muscles, tendons, joints, and balance together. I've seen seniors eat plenty of protein but still feel unstable. That's often not a muscle problem, it's a connective tissue problem. Teff helps restore that foundation. Speaking of connective tissue, this is where bone broth shines. Bone broth doesn't just feed muscle, it feeds the scaffolding around muscle, tendons, ligaments, joints. Glycine and proline help repair tissues that years of wear slowly damage. For many of my older patients, less joint pain means they move more, and movement is what keeps muscle alive. Now let's talk about plant foods that surprise people. Chickpeas provide protein, yes, but more importantly, endurance. They fuel muscles steadily without spikes and crashes. Tofu does something different. It gently supports hormone balance and reduces chronic inflammation, two hidden drivers of muscle loss after 60. I've seen patients who felt heavy and sluggish on meat-heavy diets regain lightness and energy simply by adding tofu a few times a week. Nori seaweed may look insignificant, but it delivers bioactive peptides that aging digestive systems absorb easily. That matters because absorption, not intake, is the real issue after 60. Spirulina goes even further. It improves oxygen delivery to muscle tissue. Many seniors think they're weak, when in reality their muscles are simply starving for oxygen. Spirulina helps restore that flow. Then there are mussels, rich in taurine. Taurine protects muscle cells from age-related breakdown and supports nerve signaling. And pumpkin seeds? They quietly supply magnesium and zinc, minerals essential for muscle contraction, recovery, and grip strength. I often tell patients, if you can't open a jar anymore, that's not just aging, that's nutrition. Finally, earth almonds, also called tiger nuts. They improve circulation, reduce cramps, and deliver steady energy. Better blood flow means muscles actually receive the nutrients you eat. And that's the common thread here. These foods don't just add protein, they restore communication between food and muscle, brain and body, strength and confidence. This is how people in their 70s and 80s get stronger. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly, realistically. And if you've been feeling like your body is slowly slipping away from you, I want you to know something. It doesn't have to. Your muscles are still listening. You just need to speak their language again. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Before we end today, I want you to pause for just a moment. Take a breath and really think about how your body feels right now. Not how it looked 20 years ago, not how you wish it felt, but how it feels when you stand up from a chair, when you walk across the room, when you wake up in the morning and ask yourself, do I feel strong or just careful? I've been a doctor for a long time, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Aging doesn't steal strength overnight. It fades quietly when we stop paying attention. But the good news is, strength comes back the same way. Quietly, steadily, one small, smart choice at a time. You don't need extreme workouts. You don't need expensive supplements. And you certainly don't need to accept weakness as just getting older. Your muscles are not gone. They're simply waiting for the right signal. And today, I've given you some of those signals. Simple foods, real science, and lessons I've learned from patients just like you. Now, I'd really like to hear from you. How old are you right now? And what has been the hardest change in your body over the last few years? Was it weaker legs? Less balance? More fatigue than you expected? Please share your experience in the comments below. You might think it's a small thing, but I promise you, someone else reading your comment will feel less alone because of it. If this video helped you, even a little, please take a second to tap the like button. It tells YouTube to share this message with other people who need it, but may not even know what to search for yet. And if you know a friend, a spouse, a parent, or a neighbor who's been feeling weaker lately, share this video with them. Sometimes one simple video is all it takes to change the direction of someone's health. Finally, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week, I share practical, honest health advice designed specifically for people over 50. No hype, no fear tactics, just what actually works. Because growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. And as long as you're willing to learn, adjust, and care for your body, your best years of strength may still be ahead of you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of your body, and I'll see you in the next video.